Hey everyone, it's Cheyenne. So I just wanted to talk a little bit more tonight because I've been thinking a lot lately, and I've actually been thinking so much that I feel like I need to write also, so I'm probably going to write later. And I might just do vlogs for this week of like advice and stuff that I'm thinking about and, food for thought stuff. I might start a whole playlist on food for thought because I was just thinking, food for thought, more food for thought 3. Like, what? Food for thought, probably. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Oh, okay. So what I wanted to talk about tonight was my definition of love. Now, there are many types of love. There's the love of friendship, which is when you love your friends, you care about them, stuff like that. There's the love of family, you love your family, you care about your family, that stuff. The love of objects. So you like an object for a certain reason. Maybe you're a gold digger and you just like money. Or maybe you like an object because it's contains something that you like to do, which this is a journal, and I like journals because I like to write. Or, I also have this one. I haven't written in these ones yet, but these are so cool, and they're so ready to be written in, and I'm so excited to write in them. Or, maybe something like this, which this is actually only half of it. It's actually 2015, because that's the year I graduated from high school, which was this year, a couple months ago. And I like this pillow, even though it fell apart. The 20 and the 15 are supposed to be stuck together. But I like this pillow not because it's a pillow, but because it holds memories of, stuff that my friends said on here. So, yeah. And these were some of my closest friends that were at this party. Something fell. And then there's also romantic love. Now, first things first, I want to kind of stress that there's a difference between being in love and loving someone. There's a big difference between the two things. Loving someone is like, oh my gosh, I love that, I love you. Well, maybe not I love you. Maybe I love you. Like if you're talking to a friend, oh yeah, I love you. Or talking to family, I love you like a brother or a sister. That's loving someone. That's simple. Being in love with someone is romantic. Or sometimes passionate. The difference between the two is that loving someone is more of a puppy love. It's nothing serious. It's nothing that is in a relationship. It's nothing that should be in a romantic relationship, because if you only love someone in a relationship, then you're not in love with them. If you're in love with them, then of course you love them, but it's a lot more and it means a lot more. Just like a single rose will always mean more than a bouquet to me. But, so we're just going to talk about the romantic type of love because I just had a lot of stuff that I wanted to put out on that. First off, let's start off with some things that I've said about love before. I have said that love itself is just a word. It actually does not describe the main feeling enough. It's kind of understated, very understated, for just a single word that can be described in so many different ways. And I'm actually about to use 2 descriptions that I have kind of made up in my head and that I've also talked about with my friends and some of my teachers. So one of the first ones I made was actually kind of me spouting nonsense, because we were doing this thing in class where we had to come up with a saying that almost made no sense but also made sense. And at first I just literally thought it made no sense when I said it, and I wrote it down because it's the first thing that popped into my head, and I don't know why. And I said that love lives like a blind man running through a minefield. Now that sounds terrible, I know, because a blind man running through a minefield is very dangerous and he could die. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought about the fact that that's actually true. Because when you are in love with someone, you're going into that relationship rather blind. Now, yes, you may have known the person for a while, but when you're actually in a relationship with someone, when you're actually in love with them, you'll learn a whole lot more about them than you would have as just friends with them. So in a way, you're going in blind, and you're going into a minefield, because if this ends wrong, you could end up getting seriously hurt. Just like a blind man would if he runs into a minefield and, steps on a mine. So yeah, that's that, I guess, analogy for that. And I actually thought it was kind of funny that it ended up fitting very well. And I actually put it into a poem that I have, and just like I have Love is Just a Word into a poem. But something that I also thought of, which was actually this past, just a couple days ago, I was talking to one of my friends, and I was sitting on a swing set. Don't judge me, I love swinging. I love swings. And I thought about this saying that I heard where it was like, love is like jumping off a building. Your heart tells you, don't worry, pretty girl, you can fly, but your brain tells you, you idiot, you're going to die. I don't think that's true. I do not think that love is like jumping off of a building. And here's why. A building, you go up one way, no ups and downs, just one way up, you jump down. That's jumping off a building. Love is a lot closer to a roller coaster in the fact that it goes up and down. However, not quite like a roller coaster, because a roller coaster is just a little bit more safe than love is, when you think about it. I think a more correct analogy for love, in this sense, is that it's a lot like a swing set. Because, listen to me, love has its ups and its downs. Like a swing set would. You're swinging up, you're going back down. You're going up, you're going back down. Kind of like love. Hey, you're up really high. Something happens, you get into a fight, and you get low, and then you go back up again. Or then you get low, and the fight gets worse sometimes, and it goes into a climax, and then you did this. And at one point in the swing, you're swinging so high, and that wind's rushing through your hair, and your head's like, oh, this is kind of scary. Maybe I should slow down a bit. But in your heart, which is really also your head, it's actually probably more of the right side of your brain, which there's actually this whole thing between the right and the left side of the brain that I actually learned last year through the song Left Brain versus the Right Brain by Bo Burnham. And that is that the left brain is more calculating and, I guess, conservative in a way, and the right brain is more creative and kind of the not as smart side. And I mean, there's a little bit on every side, but that's just, it's like the left brain is more calculating, the right brain's more artistic, creative. So in a way, it's your right brain saying, hey, you know, you can fly. But your left brain saying, idiot, you're gonna die. Or you're gonna get hurt. So, at one point in the swinging, you reach this really high climax point, where you're like, well, I don't think it can get any higher than this, but if I leap off, I could fly. And I guarantee you have all thought of this on a swing set at least once, if you've ever been on a swing set. You thought of it at least once, at least when you were a kid. One point you thought that maybe you could fly. And I know I did, because I jumped off and I got myself hurt when I was like 8, and it hurt really bad because I ran into a fence. Let's not go through that. I was special. I was very special as a kid. And I thought if I swung high enough, I could jump over the fence from the swing. And I failed. I failed very badly. But anyways, so you're swinging up, and you reach that climax in love, and whether it's a good climax or a bad climax, you decide to take a risk. You decide to leap. Or maybe you only think about it. Now, an experienced person who knows what they're doing when they go up on that and they decide to leap will, more likely than not, land just fine, and they'll be perfectly fine. They'll get what they wanted or some semblance of what they wanted. However, if you don't know what you're doing in that leap, if you jump off blindly, there's a very, very, very big risk that you could get hurt. There's a very, very small chance that you'll get lucky and land just fine. Now, there are different ways that you can get hurt jumping off a swing, just like there are different ways you can get hurt in love. There's the very minimal pain, where you might get a couple scars, you might get a couple scrapes and bruises, but other than that, you just need like a couple days to heal and then you'll be fine. And then there is the kind of mediocre pain. You might get a really bad scar, and yeah, it's going to be there, but eventually the pain fades away and it's just a scar. Maybe a little bit of a rough point in your life. There's a little bit of the worst pain where you might break a bone and it's a couple weeks to heal, maybe a couple months. And that kind of sucks, but you heal and then you just remember that you got hurt. There's the pain that's a little bit worse than that, where you get a scar and the pain will fade away, but whenever you think about it, you'll always get that dull ache, and that can happen with scars too. And then there is the pretty bad pain where you land and you get yourself really hurt. You might break a couple of bones, and you didn't die, but at first maybe you wish you did, just because you get so frustrated with yourself and, oh my god, how could I be that stupid? But you get over it eventually. After a long while, you get over it. Then there's the instance where you land and something very, very bad and detrimental happens to you, and you didn't die, but you wish you had. With a swing set, it would probably be that you landed wrong with your legs, and you probably hurt your legs pretty badly, or you landed wrong somewhere along your spine, and you probably severed the nerve connection between your brain and probably somewhere around your legs, causing you to be paralyzed, which can be a very hard thing to get over at first. I personally would not know, but being the daughter of a nurse and a physician's assistant, I know quite a little bit about what happens when things like that go on. And then there is the rare chance that when you jump off, you'll land just so that you're killed. And this is possible in love. Sometimes you don't always have to be taking a leap. Sometimes the leap takes itself. Sometimes you fall off. If you hit that neck, like I said, if you hit that spinal cord just right and sever it in just the right spot, it can kill you. And people have died of a broken heart. Simple as that. Now, I'm naming all these bad things in love, and I'm not trying to scare you guys, I promise. But, you know, it's just kind of something to think about. It's food for thought. Take this food. I'm giving it to you. Take the food. Take it. Take this food for thought. And, but there's also good sides to love, you know. The staying awake until 2 in the morning because you're so excited and so happy that you found someone that you really care about and they really care about you, and you're just so happy about it. And there's the jitters that you'll get when you look at them, and the smile that you can't wipe from your face whenever you think about them or whenever you're around them, and the way that they always make you feel alive, yet strangely like you're flying somehow. Now, I'm pretty sure I know what you guys are wondering at this point. Cheyenne, how would you know all this stuff about love? You've never been in love. You've never even wanted to date anyone. There's a very simple answer to that. I have 5 older sisters and an older brother, plus countless friends who I help with their relationships. I'm going to know a thing or two about love. Plus, I write love stories, so yeah, I'm going to know a thing or two about love. Simple. Plus, I read romance crap all the friggin' time. It's one of my favorite genres of books. Not like the smut romance, but like Pride and Prejudice, or what's another good one? Evermore's really mushy. If you guys have read the Immortal series, that's very mushy. The Mortal Instruments series, that's a pretty good one. And then it's pretty cool, the Infernal Instruments. Yeah, so I read books like that quite a bit, and I do read some of the mushier ones. But so yeah, I'm gonna know a thing or two about love. However, if you guys think that there's something I missed, or if you guys have a definition of your own, I urge you deeply to please comment below and, you know, put in your input, you know? I would really like to hear from you guys, and that would be great. If you have any advice suggestions, or maybe you need love advice, or maybe you just need advice on something, or if you have any song suggestions, you can also comment below, or you can use my email in the description, and I will get you that as soon as possible, if it is at all possible. Of course, if it's advice, I'm going to do my best to answer it. I'm going to answer it in some way, at least. But, like, for song suggestions, I can't always find a karaoke version. So, alright. And, of course, I'll let you guys know. Of course. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I love you guys so much. When you guys see this, it will be Wednesday, and I'll be at school. And, so, yeah. I hope you guys liked it. I love you guys so, so much. Stay you. Believe in yourselves because you are awesome and you matter. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.